Bookish friends. In this video I'm going to try a different type of video. I'm going to do a try a chapter video, choosing 4 books from the authors that I want to read more of. One of my 2020 goals was to read more books from the authors that I read only one book from and really enjoyed. Those authors were Quinn, Morton, Harlan Coben, and Karin. So I chose 4 books from them and read a significant amount of pages. I'm not going to say I read a chapter because for some books the chapters were long, so I read half a chapter. And for some books chapters were very short, so I read like 3 chapters. And the books that I've chosen were The Huntress by Quinn, The House at Riverton by Morton, Fool Me Once by Harlan Coben, and The Good Daughter by Karin. The book that I will be choosing, I will put it in my April TBR so that I will be more focused on this goal. Let's see what past Berna thought about those books. It's Saturday morning and I'm going to try to read the first chapter of The Huntress by Quinn. I'm going to read all of the books in this Kindle. So let's see what I will think about the first chapter of this book. I finished the prologue of The Huntress by Quinn. It was a very interesting passage. It was told from the point of the view of the Huntress, in which the book is named after, and she questions what is a war crime, and is she really a murderer, or was she doing what she was ordered in the war, and how the winners of the war can decide what the war crime is. It's really an interesting read, and I cannot wait to read this book. Since I still have time before I go and meet my friend to celebrate her birthday, I think I will also read the first sections of The Shifting Fog, or The House at Riverton, the new title, by Morton. Let's see what I will think about it. So I finished the first few sections of The House at Riverton by Morton. I'm very intrigued by the premise of this book because it tells about the production of a movie that takes place in 1920, the event of a writer's suicide which took place in a party at House at Riverton. And the book actually begins with a script of the movie and a letter written to an old woman who witnessed this event, and I was really hooked in the 10 pages. I'm very excited to read this book, even if I do not choose it for next month. Hello. It's Saturday evening and I'm going to read the first chapter of Fool Me Once by Harlan Coben. I'm really wondering what I will think about it because I read my first and only Harlan Coben book about 3 years ago. So I finished the first section of Fool Me Once by Harlan Coben. The first section starts with a funeral, the funeral of a man who was murdered. And we follow the point of view of the wife, whose husband was murdered when he was by her side. The wife works in military, and I guess we will find out about their past with flashbacks and about the husband's murder in the present time. That's just a guess, I'm not really sure. I enjoyed the first section, but it wasn't as gripping as the other books. Last book that I'm going to read a chapter of is The Good Daughter by Karin. I read Pretty Girls by that author and really enjoyed the book. Although some scenes were very gory and a bit scarier than I usually prefer, it was a very gripping book. It was a very good thriller. So I'm really curious how this book will turn out. I read the half of the first chapter of The Good Daughter. The story takes place in 1989. A family of four with two daughters who are 13 and I think something like 11 at the time, live in a small town. And their father is a lawyer who defends criminals. And that is not very acceptable for the society. When he clears the name of a suspected criminal, their house is burnt down with a Molotov cocktail, and they have to live in a different house temporarily. And the story is told from the point of view of the eldest daughter. The story, I think, had an interesting premise, and it had the most character-focused story. I guess many things will happen to those characters. After reading this section, I really want to read this book as well. After reading the beginning parts of the 4 books, I decided that I want to read all of the books. But since the aim of this video was to find the book that I would put in my April TBR for reading, I had to choose the one that I liked the best. When I compare the books, although Harlan Coben books, Fool Me Once, was really interesting, I found that I was not interested and intrigued enough to read the book as much as the others. Also, the Huntress, although I was really interested in the general plot of the story, didn't hook me as much as the other two. I had really hard time choosing between The Good Daughter and The House at Riverton. But maybe because I was so in the mood for a book that was taking part in 1920s, I decided to choose The House at Riverton by Kate Morton. So that book will be added to my April TBR. Please comment down below, have you read any of the books that I've read, at least some parts of? And what did you think about them? Also, would you recommend other books from these authors? I really would like to know your thoughts about them. And if you are a new viewer, please like and subscribe. Hope to see you very soon. Bye. As for Turkish word of the day, since this video was called Try a Chapter, I thought try should be the word of the day. Try means denemek in Turkish, and denemek is our Turkish word of the day. Have a good day.